If you've taken my SAP Business One Reports and Customization course, or been around SAP Business One for a while, you're familiar with reports in SQL and reports in Crystal Reports. I will often write reports in SQL and want them to be as pretty as Crystal Reports, but you have an entirely different way of selecting Crystal Report fields. This week, let's talk about a way to import your SQL directly into a new Crystal Report. So we're going to start with a very simple report that I have here. And it's just a simple production order with some dates. And I have it all set up. I've got a status. I'm going to take the query that I have, and I'm just going to copy it. And then once I have it copied, I can go over to Crystal Reports here. And I've already started to set up the database expert, and I have a database here that I'm going to use. And you'll see on most databases that it has this add command. And you can click on that. You can either right-click it and add the command to the report, or you can just click the arrow over here. And you'll get another window that says add command to report, and you'll get a space for your SQL query and for a parameter list. We'll talk more about the parameter list a little later. But right now, we're just going to worry about this SQL query, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste my query directly in here, hit OK, and now I have this command in here, which I can change the name, and I can click on this, and I can change it to PROD, production order like that, so I can tell that it's an actual SQL report. And now I have this ready to go. I can go ahead and hit OK. And I get a report. I can now go in the database fields, and you'll see here I have prod order here. And I can click on that. I only have the fields that are in my report. I also have only the data that's in my report. So this is much smaller. It's a lot easier to use these fields this way. I use them the same way as if I was linking them here in Crystal Reports. So for example, I could set up a group expert for status and hit OK. And I get my status. And I'm going to scoot this over a little because that's pretty big anyway. And then I can go over here to a formula field. I can make a formula. And let's call it status name. And I can hit OK. And here's my status name. I can go in here and see that I've got status name and all the other fields in my formula. And then I can go ahead and type a formula in. So I could do, for example, select status, and then type in my formula. And once I have that, I can save and close it and drop that in. I could add information to the detail. And I can go ahead and select all three of these and format them to a specific date and time format, which I'll use this one, and run my report. And there you go. I have a perfectly good report already, and I can now do more formatting and the like to get this to look a lot better. But you get the idea. I mean, I could make this bold, for example. But you got the idea of how this is working. It's pretty easy. Now, you may want to put parameters in here. Now, I don't use parameter fields here. Instead of using the parameter fields here, unless you're filtering for more information from the basic data set, you're not going to use it to here and use the select like you do here. You're not going to use the select expert. Instead, you're going to be doing that part of the operation inside of the database. So let's go back into the database expert here and go over here to the production order. I'm going to right-click, and then I'm going to edit the command. And I'm going to do two more things. I'm going to add some parameters here and then add them to my query to get the correct data. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to hit create, and then I'm going to put a parameter name. And so let's start with a from date, and prompting text will be from date. And I'm going to make this a date time. And I don't like the default values in here, so I'm going to just remove them. And then I can hit OK. And I have now my first parameter. I'm going to do the same thing for a to date. Use the date time, and I'm just going to get rid of all that. Hit OK. And now I can go back into my code here and replace it by just double-clicking with my parameters. Okay. And then I get an enter values screen. And I'm just going to set this up for 112008, so we get a lot of data. And then I'll make this one today. And hit OK. And now I can hit OK over here. And now I've got the correct report. And you can see I've got all my data that's here. And it's got all the canceled here. It's got all my closed here. If I go all the way to the bottom, I'm going to get all my planned as well. So you can see that it works really well, and you can see it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Using command in Crystal Reports and some SQL is an easy way to take what you already have available and use it as a Crystal Report. It's a smaller flat table than the link table you usually have if you link these in Crystal Reports. In fact, some add-ons will actually require you to do this, such as Boy and B1 Up, if you want to import a Crystal Report into SAP. So check the documentation for your favorite add-on for specific requirements and directions. This was a BizOneness Power Tip. For more on SAP Business One, check out my courses in the LinkedIn Learning Library, SAP Business One Essential Training, SAP Reporting and Customization, SAP Sales and Customer Service, and SAP Finance and Banking. Subscribe to BizOneness on LinkedIn, or subscribe and find more information about all of this at bizoneness.com.